You can't help but agree that today we're spoiled with choices when it comes to online streaming platforms. And yes, most of these shows are pretty good, but these are the top 10 best shows across all platforms. And we're starting off with number 10. Unless you have been living under a rock for the past 15 years, you should know who I'm talking about. Yep, the Winchesters. While talking about the top 10 best shows across all major platforms, how can we not begin with the longest running fantasy show to ever air in the US? Supernatural has received 128 nominations and won 38 awards. Can you believe that? It has been lauded by fans and critics alike as one of the greatest fantasy shows ever made. We have many shows dealing with world-ending events where the heroes need to save us, but what makes Supernatural unique is that there are no heroes with magical powers. More than being a show about monsters, it's about love, family, and the power of friendship that stands in the face of God and wins. Speaking of which, Supernatural has one of the best soundtracks of all time. What makes it enduring is the dynamic of the main trio. Jared, Jensen, and Misha as Sam, Dean, and Castiel are always ready to raise hell and tear down heaven for the sake of each other. Turns out, they are the best of friends in real life too. And fans cannot get enough of them. You can also gauge the show's popularity from the fact that despite the series ending in 2020, Supernatural remains a trending topic on Twitter. I mean, just like most of its characters, the show refuses to die. Hashtags like DeathTL continue to dominate major social media platforms, reflecting the active and passionate fandom that continues to celebrate the show. Actually, at this point, it's more than a show. It's become a community. And guess what? You can watch it on a range of streaming platforms. Be it Netflix, Vudu, Prime Video, or Apple TV, the Winchesters are waiting for you. At number 9, riding on the popularity of Jensen Ackles, this show has shattered all records to win the coveted crown of being the most successful superhero series in 2022. Yes, move aside Marvel, there's a new head honcho in town. The Boys, streaming on Amazon Prime, is the smartest political satire of our times, built on the idea that if superheroes were real, they would be monsters, corrupted by absolute power.
With great power comes the absolute certainty that you'll turn into a right cunt. What?
Not just Superman, but every superhero you have grown up loving is exposed in this show. There's Homelander, an evil take on DC's Superman, played with an eerie perfection by Anthony Starr, who has been nominated for the Critics' Choice Awards for this role. He presents a smiling, all-American front to the public, but in private uses his powers to murder his rivals. Guys, I'm not exaggerating.
I do this.
He's truly one of the most terrifying TV villains for all of the years to come. Fighting against diabolical Marvel parodies are the ragtag crew of boys, who are determined to take them down along with Vought International, the evil mega corporation that created them. This isn't a subtle show. It's violent and extremely gory, and isn't afraid to poke fun at the cynical exploitation of rainbow capitalism, America's toxic gun culture, and the rise of fascism. It's both a parody of the genre and a blunt dissection of our real world. It has rightfully pissed off many people, pun intended. Season 3 introduced Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, the realistic version of Captain America, and he immediately broke the internet. The show constantly mocks the shallow gimmicks of celebrities, and this dig at Kendall Jenner's tone-deaf Pepsi commercial was the best among all. If you haven't watched this yet, you are missing out.
Is this entertaining?
Moving on to number 8, the first family of Montana is back and ready for action in another season of Yellowstone. If you're a fan of the show, it's time to put on your cowboy hat and get ready for more backstabbing drama from the Duttons. One of the biggest draws of the show is the incredible cast. Kevin Costner plays John Dutton, the patriarch of the family and the owner of the ranch. He's a tough and uncompromising figure who will do whatever it takes to protect his family and his land from rival ranchers and land developers. The rest of the cast is equally impressive, with standout performances from actors like Kelly Riley, Wes Bentley, and Luke Grimes. It's currently streaming on Peacock if you're interested.
Yellowstone.
And at number 7, we got Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez returning for season 2 of Only Murders in the Building on Hotstar and on Hulu. The first season was a hit with a well-written crime plot capturing the essence of New York and packed with physical comedy. In the second season, the trio finds themselves investigating a new murder at the Arconia, and guess what? Mabel is found with a bloody knitting needle, making her the prime suspect. Despite the police forbidding them from making a podcast, the trio can't resist investigating the crime. I mean, it's in their blood, pun intended. So the Hardy Boys team up for another round of sleuthing. And trust me, this adorable cast will convince you to watch the show.
Steve. Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Should people watch our show?
I believe that's a personal choice.
Who could have thought that these three would make such a great show? Season 3 is already in production, and it has the fan favorite global crush, Paul Rudd, in it.
We have two options. I slap you across the face, or we just skip to the part where you say, "Thanks, kid, that was tough to hear."
Not the slapping one.
Get ready for number 6, a wild ride with the second season of HBO's hit dramedy, The White Lotus. The show starts off with Daphne taking a peaceful swim in the Mediterranean before stumbling upon a dead body. As more bodies are discovered, the mystery surrounding their deaths deepens, leaving us hooked as we try to unravel the circumstances behind all of it. Beyond the intense plot, the show explores relatable and significant topics such as infidelity, emotional unavailability, and the white savior complex. With sharp social satire and commentary on the divide between the rich and the poor, this season promises to be even better than the first. Perhaps The Atlantic summed the show up the best, saying, "The curse of the privileged is that they would rather be miserable than lose even a tiny fraction of the things they've been given." And I can't say that I disagree. But have you thought about what happens after death? Do soulmates exist? Are we truly capable of change? If you find yourself pondering such questions on a random midnight like me, dive right into The Good Place, here at number 5 on our list. This show started with a fun question. What if someone was sent to heaven by accident and had to pretend to be a good person? And as it progressed, it taught us that morality cannot be measured in a vacuum. While people should be held accountable for their actions, we are all a product of our environment, and the results of our actions are often beyond our control. Bad people can improve when they are loved and supported. And of course, the reality of death is essential to the enjoyment of life. It never feels boring or preachy though, like ever. The cast is extremely likable and relatable, and the dialogues are full of razor-sharp wit. It's forking amazing. Those who watched it will get that reference, and for those of you who are missing out, go stream it on Netflix.
Yes.
Streaming on Apple TV and described as the blackest comedy ever, at number 4 we got Bad Sisters, a series that depicts a group of women who try to escape a painful situation. The story revolves around the funeral of John Paul Williams, the abusive husband of Grace Williams. Grace's 4 sisters were also subjected to his torment. Through their flashbacks, we come to know how controlling, narcissistic, and violent he was. So they decide to murder him 6 months before his death. After many failed attempts, they finally succeed. But here's the catch. Neither they nor we know who actually did the killing. Tune in to find out. It will keep you at the edge of your seat.
That's insane.
But what if we told you that all conspiracy theories are real? Yes, there's a shadow government controlling the world and that most celebrities are Illuminati agents. This is the premise of our show at number 3, The Inside Job, an animated series on Netflix that follows a talented but socially awkward scientist, Reagan, working for a shadow organization. While this may seem like a heavy topic, you'll be surprised to know that the show is known for its comedic brilliance. Unfortunately, it has been canceled after season 1. So, I mean, it's a pretty commonly accepted fact that if Netflix cancels something, it must mean that it was pretty damn good. And on to number 2. None of us in our wildest dreams thought that a sequel of the hit series Breaking Bad could actually overshadow its success, and yet that's exactly what Better Call Saul did. It follows the story of Jimmy McGill, a struggling lawyer trying to make ends meet in New Mexico, and his journey of becoming Saul Goodman, the morally crooked criminal lawyer. Bob Odenkirk delivers an outstanding performance as Jimmy, showcasing his incredible range as an actor. The show expertly weaves together complex characters, intricate storylines, and sharp humor to create a world that keeps you hooked from start to finish. If you haven't watched it yet, it's available on Netflix. And finally, down to number 1. This is a commune. We are communists, declared the latest episode of this post-apocalyptic drama that has taken the world by storm. HBO's Last of Us starts by presenting the hypothetical scenario of a parasitic fungus destroying humans, discussed by experts on a 1960s talk show, which then transitions to 2003, where the worst case scenario is wreaking havoc on society. The show then shifts to 2023 and portrays the aftermath, with a bleak setting where an authoritarian military regime controls what remains of society, fighting against rebel factions labeled as terrorist. Pedro Pascal plays Joel, a construction worker from Texas who's in his 50s and doesn't quite fit in with the Boston quarantine zone. He has to do some pretty unpleasant jobs to make ends meet and even dabbles in the black market to get by. But things get interesting when he meets Ellie, played by Bella Ramsey, a 14-year-old girl who he has to escort across the ravaged US. But who knows, she might be the savior the world needs. By the way, the world is swooning over Pedro, and he definitely knows it.
I'm your daddy.
How you doing, Daddy?
I'm all right, Mama.
You know you're the daddy of the internet, right?
I call Pedro Pascal a DILF and think he's my cool, slutty father. Yep, I am your cool, slutty daddy.
Yes. Your daddy.
I'm your daddy.
Daddy's a state of mind.
Daddy's a state of mind. You're quoting me.
Senior interviews.
I know. Please don't die.
Time.
I'm your zaddy. Don't do that to your zaddy.
What happened there?
And if you haven't already gotten hooked on this hunk, make sure you tune in on either HBO, Disney Plus, Hotstar, or even Hulu for this record-breaking hit. Out of all of these shows, which one was your favorite, or are you most excited to watch? Let us know in the comments down below. And make sure you leave us a like and share, and also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Until next time.